All right, so we have our array bag. It uses this generic type T in our bag interface. These two T's are the same T's. So once you define this T, it defines all the T's in here. It's the same placeholder. You could have placeholders for other generic types. Then you just put commas and just keep on going with them. And then you have to define a type for each generic type. All right, but that's a conversation for another day. T's, we have a bag of type T's. T's can be any object, okay? Any object type, all right? So if you want to do an integer, a bag of integers, it has to be a big I integer. And, you know, something like integer x equals new integer 5, right? Or the short form, you can actually get away with this. Because Java does some fancy footwork behind the scenes to ensure that works. That's called boxing and unboxing, and that's how you go from primitives to object types and object types to primitives for things like integers and doubles and floats that have both the primitive type and object type in Java. It's a very Java-specific thing and not too useful. So since T is an object, that means we can do stuff like return null. It also means that when we remove target value, t.equals will work, has to work, because, not t.equals, but whatever, bag array i.equals, right? So bag array i.equals our target value, right, has to return true or false, and that's because equals, even if our type T doesn't implement equals, since T is an object and equals is implemented in the object class in Java, and every class inherits from this universal base class object, t.equals will always compile. Also, t.toString will always compile. So the fact that T is an object gives us some things for free, all right? So if we want to see if two T's are equal, we're using dot equals, right? Because that's how we see if two objects are equal in Java. The only other thing you have to know about this when you're doing generic types is you have to know how to create an array of a generic type in Java, and it's a little annoying, so let's look at how to do that. The first thing, the basic scheme you have to do is you have to create an array of an object type, since T is an object, and then you have to cast it to a type T. But that cast will be thought of as illegal unless you put suppress warnings in quotes unchecked, and the only way, you just have to memorize this. There's no other special way to do this. So you put suppress warnings unchecked, and then the next thing you do, and there's no semicolon here, again, just memorize that. And you don't actually memorize it. What you do is you remember every time you make a generic array that you have to do some annoying thing in Java, and then you go look it up, okay? But once you see it once, you'll remember it. And then we have to make a array of an object type and cast it to T, and we can't do it directly to bag array. We first have to make it a temp and then make bag array a shallow copy of that temp. So we'll make a temp array and we'll say, okay, there's our type T, and we'll get our object, and our object array will be of size default bag size, right? And so that looks good. We might still have an error, and if we have an error, work with me here. But I think that'll work. And then we just simply shallow copy it. So bag array and temp are the same exact object in memory. So we are making an object of default bag size, and then we make bag array equal to temp. And if we hit play, it says object cannot be new object. Did I do that right? There we go. So we created an array on the heap of a type object, and then we casted it to a type T array And so temp is now a T array, and that allows us to literally just say bag array equals temp. And now, from here on out, bag array can be used like a regular. So bag array of 15, okay, will, there's no bag array of 15 because the default bag size is 4. So bag array of 2, well, that's going to be a type T now because we're grabbing an actual element of bag array. And since bag array is an array of T's, that'll be whatever object we have in there. We have a few more things to do before we're completely done with generics, but you've gotten basically the most important aspect of generics right now. The hardest thing to remember is how to make a generic array in Java. That's how you do it. All right, so I'll see you next video.